Hello. Alright, it picked up. Let me just go back to Do Not Disturb. Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome to the first lore video on a character for a Discord server I own. Today, we will be talking about the mighty alpharion. A god few can claim to be as old as, and even fewer who could have made that claim, still draw breath. So who was alpharion? He was a legendary mortal warrior, one who nobody really could stand against. And as a nearly invincible immortal warrior, you tend to fight a lot. And so he decided to get very good at fighting, to the point where nobody on his home planet could beat him. And then a big invasion happened, by a species never before encountered or seen. And they proceeded to wreck the floor with the Stardust Elves, which was Alphron's original species, and that pissed him off. So he went off to war to fight against them, made a big final stand, died, and somehow became a god after that. And with his new godhood, he proceeded to genocide the ever-living hell out of all of them. All of them being the invaders. And now with his home planet left in ruin, he had to go find a new one. And so, what would that new one be? Well, it'd be a primordial version of this world, the current world of divinity, which was in its infancy, had, and thus he kinda waited there. It then becomes a relatively primordial Earth, has dinosaurs and everything, and Alphron accidentally caused the extinction of the dinosaurs by sneezing. What, it gets very dusty up in space, what do you expect? And angering a lot of other gods. So with that, they had to all start over again. They started over with the mammals, which eventually evolved into the various mortal species that we all enjoy today. But three primary ones being the orcs, the dwarves, and the elves. And Alphron, not wanting to be left out of all of this, decided to create his own continent, Abylos, and just did his thing, made big continent, and then he took the elves and made them into lunar elves, attempting to recreate the star-touched elves, or the stardust elves, whichever you prefer. Doesn't matter to me what you call them by. Point is, it didn't work, and they just became lunar elves instead. But that was acceptable. And a few decades down the line, he decided to add the dwarves in because the dwarves were better crafters and miners than the elves. However, when you introduce two species into one continent, they tend to want to fight. And so, big war. Alphron had to figure out a way to stop this big war before both species annihilated each other. Eventually, that was solved, mainly with a massive display of his own power, and the fact of saying, hey, I'm the one in charge of this operation. You're not. And then a peace treaty was signed. And everything was wonderfully peaceful for a time. Till, of course, he decided to get the bright idea of adding the orcs in. The night orcs. Guess what happened again? A big war. Guess who had to step in to stop it again? Alpharion. Are you starting to see a pattern yet? Good, because this is the last time this ever fucking happened. Mainly because, when a big god decides to show you that he's in charge of the damn operation of the continent, you tend to put that pointy sword down for a bit. And so everything was fine for a time. Well, I say for a time, it was actually fine till current. And it is still going fine. So what is this continent of Aberos that was made? Okay, so it's a giant continent. Duh. It has various things about it. Firstly, you'll notice it's always night. Always dark. You'll also notice these pale wood trees, as they're called, reflecting light off of a bigger one that towers over the entire landscape, known as the Lunarius tree. These pale wood trees sometimes bear fruit that can heal minor injuries, or if enhanced, can heal more severe-ish ones, and also have iron or gold cores depending on the subspecies you are using it for. Then we have another plant. Then we have the Lunarius fruit from the Lunarius tree, which can bring you back from the dead, makes you stronger, faster, a little bit more perceptive, and extends your lifespan. And this is kind of why Arbos is a very wealthy nation, because of the trade goods that are exclusive to it, and the fact that gold literally grows on trees there. Why fight a war when you're greedy, when you can just plant your greed away? And so everything is fine in Arbos. The Palewood Forest being somewhat sentient and getting rid of unwelcome invaders via getting them lost in it is fine. Or if you attempt to come in by sea, you'll get lost in a big old mist wall that will sure to have you very lost, very confused, and you'll just turn around and leave. There's also the moon sand dunes, aka the lunar sand deserts, the white stone mountains, which are where the dwarves reside. The deserts are where the orcs reside, along with the silvergrass plains, which is where everyone tends to reside if they really want to. There's a shimmering ocean, which just shimmers in moonlight, nothing really too special about that. And a glimmering jungle, which has vicious wildlife that no one really wants to venture out into because the chances of you dying there are somewhat high. But that life tends to stay contained within the jungle. Or if you're really crazy, you can try to domesticate it. Have fun with that one. And so that is Alpharion and what he did in the server of Divinity. I hope you all enjoyed this little talk. There will be more, don't worry.